Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will discuss about the pterygopalatine fossa and the maxillary nerve and its branches. The pterygopalatine fossa we all know is located on the medial aspect of the infratemporal fossa. It opens into the infratemporal fossa through the pterygomaxillary fissure. So, first of all, to understand the maxillary nerve and its branches, we have to know the boundaries of the pterygopalatine fossa, because the main contents of the pterygopalatine fossa are the third part of the maxillary artery, the maxillary nerve and an important parasympathetic ganglion, the pterygopalatine ganglion. This fossa is also known as spinopalatine fossa. We will see the boundaries first. The pterygopalatine fossa is located on the back of the maxilla on its medial side. On the lateral side is the infratemporal fossa. So, the anterior boundary will be the posterior surface of the maxilla. The pterygopalatine fossa is a pyramidal shaped fossa. This is the maxilla. So, the posterior surface of the body of the maxilla forms the anterior wall of this fossa. The posterior wall is formed by the root of the pterygoid process. This is the lateral pterygoid plate, that is what we are seeing, and the medial pterygoid plate is on the other side. Both the pterygoid plates are attached to the root of the pterygoid process. This is the root of the pterygoid process. This forms the posterior boundary. So, this is the anterior boundary. And the roof is formed by the under surface of the body of the sphenoid. So, this is the body of the sphenoid. On the posterior side, it is the root of the pterygoid process along with a part of the greater wing of sphenoid will be there, and the medial wall is formed by the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone, and the medial wall has an opening near its upper end which opens into the roof of the nose. So, this is called spinopalatine foramen. By this fossa is called the spinopalatine fossa. The lateral wall is open as the pterygomaxillary fissure. This is the pterygomaxillary fissure. This fossa is located just under the apex of the orbit, and it is open into the orbit by means of the inferior orbital fissure. So, this is the pterygopalatine fossa. In the last class about the maxillary artery, we learned that the third part of the maxillary artery enters into this fossa and goes through the spinopalatine foramen as long spinopalatine arteries. So, this posterior wall, if we see, presents three openings. One opening, I will make it a little bit. See, if this is the posterior wall, there are three openings are there. One opening near its upper end. So, this is called the foramen rotundum. This is the foramen rotundum. A little bit down, near in the center, we have the opening of the pterygoid canal. Pterygoid canal is present through the root of the pterygoid process. This is the anterior opening and the posterior opening is present towards this side. So, this is the pterygoid canal, and another opening is present near a little bit downwards towards the medial most part. This is the opening of the palatino-vaginal canal. This is the opening of palatino-vaginal canal. So, this is foramen rotundum, this is the anterior opening of the pterygoid canal, and this is the opening of the palatino-vaginal canal. Thus this pterygopalatine fossa is communicating with the middle cranial fossa through this foramen rotundum to the nasal cavity through this sphenopalatine foramen and to the orbit by means of the inferior orbital fissure, and this is the apex of this fossa which opens down as the greater palatine foramen. So, this is the greater palatine foramen behind the last molar tooth. So, these are the communications, and laterally it is opening into the infratemporal fossa. Now, we will see the contents. The main content is the maxillary nerve and its branches along with the sphenopalatine foramen, sphenopalatine ganglion, and the third part of the maxillary artery also passes through this fossa, and branches of the third part are seen in this fossa. As we completed the artery in the last class, today we will discuss about the maxillary nerve, its branches, and the pterygopalatine ganglion. You all know the maxillary nerve is a sensory nerve which is a branch from the anterior surface of the trigeminal ganglion, which is present in the Meckel's cave at the apex of the temporal, the petrous temporal part of the temporal bone. So, it is present somewhere here in the middle cranial fossa. So, this is the trigeminal ganglion, and from its anterior border the maxillary nerve leaves the middle cranial fossa through the foramen rotundum and enters into the pterygopalatine fossa like this. This maxillary nerve leaves this pterygopalatine fossa through the inferior orbital fissure, and through a groove here. The floor of the orbit will have a groove called infraorbital groove here, and then it opens into a canal called infraorbital canal, which opens out onto the cheek as the infraorbital foramen. So, this nerve passes through this groove first, it bends laterally here and it passes through this groove and through this canal, then comes out onto the cheek. There it ends as the palpebral branches, the nasal branches, and the superior labial branches. These are all destined to the skin. The palpebral branches pierces the oculoimagil and innervates the skin of the lower eyelid. Then the nasal branches supply the skin over the nose, and the superior labial branches innervate the skin of the upper lip. So, this is the fate of the maxillary nerve. So, until here it is called maxillary nerve, from here it is called infraorbital nerve. So, this infraorbital nerve comes out and divides as palpebral branches, nasal branches, and the superior labial branches. So, palpebral branch, nasal branch, superior labial branches. Within the pterygopalatine fossa, it gives all its branches, and main important is it has ganglionic branches here, by which largest of the peripheral parasympathetic ganglion hangs here. So, this is the peripheral, the sphenopalatine ganglion or the pterygopalatine ganglion, which is secretomotor to the lacrimal glands, glands of the soft palate, glands of the hard palate, and orbital mucosal nasal mucosal glands. So, we will see how it destined for the secretomotor function a little bit later. So, the maxillary nerve within the infratemporal fossa, within the middle cranial fossa, gives a few branches to the meninges. So, this is the meningeal branches given to the dura mater in the middle cranial fossa. Then it gives ganglionic branches. These are called ganglionic branches. These ganglionic branches branches will hang the pterygopalatine ganglion. These branches not only carries the secretomotor fibers, but also carries the sensory fibers from the nose, soft palate, hard palate, orbit to the main maxillary nerve. Okay. So, these are the ganglionic branches. Then another branch is given here, the zygomatico. This is the zygomatic branch. The zygomatic branch enters the orbit through this inferior orbital fissure. This is the inferior orbital fissure. So, it enters the orbit. After entering into the orbit, it divides into a zygomatico-facial branch and a zygomatico-temporal branch. So, one is zygomatico-facial branch, the other one is zygomatico-temporal branch. This zygomatico-facial branch turns laterally, comes out of the face. From here, there is a foramen there, zygomatico-facial foramen is there. It comes on to the prominence of the cheek and supplies the skin over the prominence of the cheek. This zygomatico-temporal nerve passes along the lateral wall of the orbit, then comes out behind the frontal process of this zygomatic bone. Another foramen is there, zygomatico-temporal foramen. So, from there it comes out and supplies the skin on the temporal region, on the face here. So, before leaving the orbit, this branch gives a vertical branch which connects to the lacrimal nerve. That lacrimal nerve goes to the lacrimal gland. So, this is the lacrimal nerve. So, I will just erase this to get the space. So, this lacrimal nerve is joined by this, and both will go to the lacrimal gland. So, through this branch, the secretomotor fibers of this ganglion will go to the lacrimal gland. So, this is about the zygomatic branch. The zygomatic branch enters the orbit through the inferior orbital fissure, then it divides into a zygomatico-facial branch and a zygomatico-temporal branch. This zygomatico-facial branch comes out of the cheek through the zygomatico-facial foramen and innervates the skin over the prominence of the cheek. The zygomatico-temporal branch leaves the orbit through the zygomatic temporal foramen and innervates the skin over the temple region. It gives a vertical branch which joins the lacrimal nerve. This is the lacrimal nerve and this is the lacrimal gland. So, both will enter into the lacrimal gland and induces the lacrimation. So, this is the branching of this zygomatic branch. Then another branch is given here which comes down like this and divides into branches which pierces the body of the maxilla to enter the to join the superior dental plexus as the posterior superior alveolar nerve. So, this is the posterior superior alveolar nerve. After this branch, the maxillary nerve enters into the infraorbital groove. So, here it gives another branch which is called the middle superior alveolar nerve, which passes through the maxillary sinus. So, here is the maxillary air sinus is there. Like this. So, it passes through the along the lateral wall of the maxillary air sinus and enters the dental plexus to innervate the dentition of the maxilla. Another branch is given from here which passes through the anterior wall to supply the incisors and canines. So, while it passes through the maxillary air sinus, it travels through a small canal here. The canal is synosus. So, canalis synosus is present within the maxillary air sinus, through which this anterior superior alveolar nerve passes and supplies the canines and incisors. So, these are the main branches, and from here it is called infraorbital nerve, and it emerges out onto the face, divides into palpebral branch, nasal branch and superior labial branch. This is the pathway of the main maxillary nerve. The maxillary nerve is a pure sensory nerve and sensory to the soft palate, hard palate, nasal cavity, orbit, lacrimal gland and pharynx. So, all these sensory branches passes through different branches of this pterygopalatine ganglion without relaying there and enters into the maxillary nerve to go into the trigeminal ganglion, from there trigeminal nerve and to the main trigeminal nuclei which are there in the midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. So, coming to this pterygopalatine ganglion, this pterygopalatine ganglion also gives few branches which are nothing but the sensory fibers of this maxillary nerve along with the postganglionic parasympathetic fibers and the sympathetic fibers also. So, how they are related there we will see now. This ganglion gives 4 sets of branches, orbital branches. Orbital branches, they go up. So, for easy understanding I will give another color. The orbital branches go through the inferior orbital fissure, to innervate the orbitalis muscle, the mucosa of the periosteum of the orbit, and another set of branches which go through the sphenopalatine foramen through the nasal cavity. So, they are called nasal branches. So, orbital branches, nasal branches, then we have pharyngeal branches. One pharyngeal branch goes through the, this is the opening of the palatino-vaginal canal. So, it passes through the pharynx, and another set goes down like this. These are the greater palatine and lesser palatine nerves. Both are going down like this. So, this is the greater palatine nerve goes down and supplies the glands and mucosa of the hard palate up to the incisive foramen. The lesser palatine nerve innervates the mucosa of the palatine tonsils, soft palate, and this carries the taste sense also from here to the maxillary nerve. So, these are the 4 types of branches from the palatine ganglion. So, all these branches, that is the orbital branches, nasal branches, pharyngeal branch and the palatine branches, they carry fibers, sensory fibers from the sensory fibers for the maxillary nerve, postganglionic secretomotor fibers to the palatine glands, the nasal glands, and sympathetic fibers to the nasal glands and the palatine glands. So, how the connections are there, we will see. This peripheral parasympathetic ganglion receives, even though it is located with the maxillary nerve, it is functionally related to the greater petrosal nerve of the facial nerve. The facial nerve within the tympanic cavity, it has a genu. The internal genu is there. Like this. Facial nerve has a sensory root and a motor root. The sensory root originates from the pons, is called nervus intermedius. So, the superior salivatory nucleus and the lacrymatory nucleus are present there in the pons. From there, the preganglionic parasympathetic secretomotor fibers starts and they pass through the nervus intermedius, then to the main facial nerve, then through the genu like this, they pass without relay there and pass through the, this is the pterygoid canal, they pass through the pterygoid canal and relay in the ganglion. So, like this. So, this is the greater petrosal nerve. This greater petrosal nerve is joined by the deep petrosal nerve. This deep petrosal nerve brings the postganglionic sympathetic fibers from the superior cervical ganglion through the internal carotid plexus, and from there this nerve is called nerve of the pterygoid canal. This is the nerve of the pterygoid canal, otherwise called Vidian nerve. So, this is the nerve of the pterygoid canal, it relays in the ganglion. From here, the postganglionic secretomotor fibers to the lacrimal gland pass through the ganglionic branch of the maxillary nerve and through the maxillary nerve. From there, its zygomatic branch. From there, the zygomatico-temporal branch, and from its the vertical branch, and joins the lacrimal branch to end at the lacrimal gland. They also pass through this greater palatine nerves to the glands at the soft palate and the hard palate. They pass through the nasal branches to supply the glands at the nose. So, they all carries the fibers from the lacrymatory nucleus through these connections. So, the sympathetic fibers, they are from the internal carotid system, pass through this deep petrosal nerve. This is the deep petrosal nerve. So, and they pass through the ganglion like this. The sensory nerves of the maxillary nerve pass through the ganglion without relay, and they supply all these branches. So, this is about the maxillary nerve and the pterygopalatine ganglion. These nasal branches, they after entering into the posterior superior quadrant of the nose, divide into two sets. One set goes to the lateral wall of the nose. There are 6 to 8 branches. They supply the mucosa and nasal glands of the posterior superior aspect of the concave, the mucosa, the meatus, and sphenoidal and ethmoidal air sinuses. The medial set passes on to the nasal septum. They descend down, and one of them is long, and it is called long sphenopalatine nerve, which comes to the nose and it enters through the incisive fossa onto the hard palate to supply a part of the hard palate. So, this is about the nasal branches of this one. A pharyngeal branch enters the palatino-vaginal canal to supply the nasopharynx, posterior aspect of the nasopharynx. So, this is about the maxillary nerve and its branches. So, herewith we conclude here, and we will come in the next class with another interesting topic. So, if you like the topic, please like, share and subscribe, and click the bell icon to get the new lessons. Thank you very much.